Think you know America? Think again. There's a mountain in the US that's actually taller than Mount Everest, a permanent whirlpool that never stops spinning, and a place where you can literally walk from the highest point in the country to the lowest in just 85 miles. But here's what will really blow your mind. The United States is physically growing larger every single day, and scientists have the proof. These aren't myths or exaggerations. These are verified geographic facts that will completely change how you see this country. At number 1. While many countries have static borders, the United States is physically growing larger every year. The Hawaiian Islands continue expanding through volcanic eruptions, river deltas along the Gulf Coast deposit new land, and geological uplift in Alaska raises land above sea level annually. Meanwhile, isostatic rebound, the gradual rising of land once depressed by glaciers, is causing parts of Alaska and the northern United States to rise by up to 1.5 inches per year, adding several hundred acres of new land annually. At number 2, Mount Whitney in California stands 14,505 feet above sea level, making it the highest point in the contiguous United States. Just 85 miles away lies Death Valley's Badwater Basin, 282 feet below sea level, the lowest point in North America. This extreme elevation change over such a short distance is among the most dramatic topographical contrasts found anywhere on Earth, with both locations in the same county, Inyo County, California. Number 3. The Mojave Desert's Mars-like terrain, particularly around Death Valley, is so similar to the Red Planet that NASA regularly tests Mars rovers and spacesuits there. The desert's stark landscape, mineral composition, and extreme temperature fluctuations closely mimic Martian conditions. The Ubahiba crater field features volcanic craters that create a landscape so otherworldly that when photographed without context, even geologists sometimes mistake it for actual Mars images. Number 4. Mauna Kea volcano in Hawaii stands 13,803 feet above sea level, but when measured from its true base deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, it reaches a height of about 33,500 feet, making it taller than Mount Everest, 29,032 feet, by more than 4,000 feet. The weight of this massive volcano has actually caused the ocean floor beneath it to sink by several miles, meaning the mountain's true size is even greater than these measurements suggest. At number 5, the continental United States sits much farther north than many Americans realize. Portland, Maine is at roughly the same latitude as the French Riviera. Minneapolis is farther north than Rome, and Seattle is farther north than Montreal and roughly the same latitude as Paris. American cities don't experience similar climates to their European counterparts primarily due to the Gulf Stream warming Europe and the lack of mountain ranges running east-west across North America. Number 6. No other place on Earth can claim this triple crown of tree superlatives. California's coast redwoods are the tallest. Its bristlecone pines in the White Mountains are among the oldest living organisms, and its giant sequoias have the largest volume. This remarkable concentration of record-breaking trees results from California's unique combination of coastal fog, high-altitude protected valleys, and Mediterranean climate. At number 7, the Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts covers approximately 200 square miles and has been the site of an unusually high number of unexplained disappearances and paranormal phenomena. Centered around the Hockomock Swamp, whose name means place where spirits dwell in Algonquian, the area has been considered mysterious by Native Americans for centuries. The swamp's unique geology creates unusual light effects, methane gas releases, and potentially hallucinogenic fungi that may contribute to its odd reputation. At number 8, in Salem, New Hampshire stands America's Stonehenge, a 30-acre complex of stone structures and artificial chambers with astronomical alignments. Carbon dating suggests some structures could be over 4,000 years old, potentially making it one of the oldest man-made sites in North America. The site features a massive sacrificial table and complex chambers that align perfectly with solstices and equinoxes, though some archaeologists dispute its ancient origins. At number 9, the San Andreas Fault in California is gradually moving the Pacific Plate northwestward relative to the North American Plate at a rate of about 2 inches per year. This means Los Angeles is slowly moving towards San Francisco at roughly the same rate your fingernails grow. In approximately 15 million years, the coastline of Southern California will be adjacent to the San Francisco Bay Area, gradually bringing the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans closer together in relative terms. Number 10. Florida's Keys are home to the third largest coral reef system in the world, and the only living coral barrier reef in the continental United States. Stretching approximately 360 miles from the dry Tortugas to the St. Lucie Inlet, this living structure was built by tiny coral polyps over thousands of years. It contains over 40 species of reef-building corals, provides habitat for more than 500 species of fish, and generates over $4.4 billion in annual income for Florida's economy. At number 11, during the Cretaceous period, a vast inland sea called the Western Interior Seaway split North America in two. Today, this ancient seabed lies buried beneath the Great Plains, with Kansas, Nebraska, and other plains states regularly yielding marine fossils including mosasaurs, ammonites, and prehistoric fish. The flat topography of the region is largely due to the sedimentary layers deposited on this ancient seafloor, which still influence groundwater resources through the Ogallala Aquifer, supporting agriculture across 8 states. Number 12. While Iceland and New Zealand are famous for their geysers, the United States actually contains over 60% of all the world's geysers. Yellowstone National Park alone has about 500 active geysers, more than the rest of the world combined. These natural hot water fountains require a rare combination of heat, water, and geological plumbing. Steamboat Geyser in Yellowstone is the world's tallest active geyser, capable of shooting water over 300 feet into the air. Number 13. With over 1,600 known hot springs, the United States has the second highest concentration in the world after Japan. The geothermal areas stretch from Alaska to Hawaii with major concentrations in western states. Hot Springs, Arkansas alone has 47 separate springs that pump out nearly 1 million gallons of 143-degree Fahrenheit water daily, which historically attracted visitors including gangsters, presidents, and baseball players seeking therapeutic treatments. At number 14, the United States has more karst topography, landscape formed by dissolving limestone, than almost any other country. In states like Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida, approximately 1/3 of all flowing water travels through underground river systems. Florida alone has over 1,000 miles of mapped underwater cave systems, creating unique ecosystems for blind fish and other specialized species while making water management challenging since pollution can travel unpredictably through these networks. At number 15, the Gulf of Maine contains a permanent clockwise whirlpool called the Jordan Basin Gyre that never stops spinning. Approximately 30 miles across, this oceanic feature creates an isolated ecosystem that concentrates plankton and attracts rare species. The deep basin at its center brings nutrient-rich water to the surface, supporting the productive fishing grounds that have historically made the Gulf of Maine one of the world's richest fishing areas. Number 16. In 1790, the center of population for the United States was in Kent County, Maryland. Today it's near Hartville, Missouri, having moved approximately 900 miles west and slightly south over 230 years. This statistical point represents where the country would balance if it were a flat surface and every person weighed exactly the same. Recent decades have shown movement southwest as population growth in the Sun Belt outpaces other regions. Number 17. During the growing season, the Corn Belt of the Midwest is so densely planted that it actually changes the local climate. NASA satellites have detected that this region increases local humidity by up to 15% during summer months, as corn plants release water vapor through transpiration. This massive agricultural zone can be clearly seen from space as a deep green region that changes the Earth's surface reflectivity, releasing enough water vapor daily to fill 2,800 Olympic-sized swimming pools. At number 18, deep beneath the surface in Sweetwater, Tennessee lies America's largest known underground lake. The Lost Sea covers 4.5 acres and contains an estimated 1.5 billion gallons of water. The cavern system features massive rooms with ceilings over 70 feet high and rare anthodite crystal formations that grow in only a few places on Earth. It also houses rainbow trout that have begun evolutionarily adapting to darkness. Number 19. Though officially entirely within the Eastern Time Zone, many residents of Greenwich, Connecticut follow what they call Greenwich Mean Time, not the international standard, but a local custom halfway between Eastern and Central time zones. Number 20. The Kilauea volcano on Hawaii's Big Island contains the Halemaumau crater, which has hosted one of the few persistent, active lava lakes on Earth. This bubbling cauldron of molten rock has been active for decades, with the current phase beginning in December 2020. The lake can reach temperatures of 2,120 degrees Fahrenheit and covers an area larger than 13 football fields, providing scientists with valuable insights into volcanic processes. Number 21. While Hell's Canyon along the Oregon-Idaho border is the deepest in the United States at 7,993 feet, Kings Canyon in California reaches depths of over 8,200 feet in some sections, making it the second deepest canyon in the world after Tibet's Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon. Number 22. The San Andreas Fault marks where the Pacific and North American plates slide past each other, but Northern California is also influenced by the smaller Juan de Fuca plate. This triple junction near Cape Mendocino creates one of the most seismically complex regions on the planet. This is why Northern California experiences different types of earthquakes than Southern California, and why the volcanic Cascade Range begins at precisely this location. At number 23, the American Prairie Reserve in Montana aims to create the largest nature reserve in the continental United States. Currently spanning over 400,000 acres, the ultimate goal is to link 3.5 million acres to create a protected area larger than Yellowstone National Park. This would restore the native prairie ecosystem that once supported vast herds of bison, elk, and pronghorn in numbers rivaling the Serengeti. Bison populations have already grown from a few dozen to over 800 animals. At number 24, the Mississippi River doesn't always stay in its banks, undergoing major course changes called avulsions. The most dramatic occurred during the New Madrid earthquakes of 1811 to 1812, when parts of the river briefly flowed backward. At number 25, the Köppen climate classification system identifies 5 major climate types with 30 subtypes, and the United States contains 28 of these 30 subtypes, more than any other nation. At number 26, Antarctica's McMurdo Dry Valleys are Earth's driest place, with some areas not seeing precipitation for an estimated 14 million years. This extreme aridity results from the transantarctic mountains, blocking ice flow and powerful katabatic winds that evaporate any moisture. The Mars-like landscape is used by NASA for research. Despite harsh conditions, a unique ecosystem of extremophiles persists in this otherworldly environment. Number 27. Greenland is geography's most famous misnomer, as over 80% is covered by permanent ice sheet. The name originated from Norse explorer Eric the Red in the 10th century. After being exiled from Iceland, he explored the new land and deliberately chose an appealing name to attract settlers, reasoning that people would be more attracted to go there if it had a good name. The marketing ploy worked, establishing the first European settlements, though the name belies the icy interior. At number 28, Socotra Island, a Yemeni territory in the Indian Ocean situated between the Guardafui Channel and the Arabian Sea, is often described as Earth's most alien-looking and beautiful place. Isolated for millions of years, Socotra functions as a living gallery of surreal and sculptural vegetation. Umbrella-shaped dragon's blood trees, bottle-like cucumber trees, delicate desert roses, and other endemic species comprise nearly 37% of its 835 plant species, all found nowhere else in the world. Socotra possesses a cinematic, dreamlike beauty unlike anywhere else on Earth. At number 29, the U.S. state of Alaska is actually closer to Russia than it is to the contiguous United States. At its nearest point, mainland Alaska and mainland Russia are separated by just 88 kilometers across the Bering Strait. Even more remarkably, the Diomede Islands, situated in the middle of the Bering Strait, bring the two nations within just 3.8 kilometers of each other. Little Diomede belongs to the United States, while Big Diomede belongs to Russia, making them the two closest landmasses between the countries. At number 29, the U.S. state of Alaska is actually closer to Russia than it is to the contiguous United States. At its nearest point, mainland Alaska and mainland Russia are separated by just 88 kilometers across the Bering Strait. Even more remarkably, the Diomede Islands, situated in the middle of the Bering Strait, bring the two nations within just 3.8 kilometers of each other. Little Diomede belongs to the United States, while Big Diomede belongs to Russia, making them the two closest landmasses between the countries. Number 30. Rising at the border of Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana, Mount Roraima is a massive flat-topped mountain that resembles something from a science fiction film. Its towering 400-meter vertical cliffs are often shrouded in mist, creating the impression of a floating island in the sky. The summit represents a completely isolated world. Having been cut off for millions of years, the mountaintop hosts unique plant species and strange rock formations found nowhere else. Mount Roraima even inspired Arthur Conan Doyle's novel, The Lost World, in which dinosaurs survived in secret atop a hidden plateau. Number 31, the Grand Canyon creates its own weather systems due to its dramatic topography. The canyon's size, steep walls, and elevation variations result in significant temperature, wind, and precipitation differences. Common phenomena include temperature inversions where cold air sinks into the canyon, trapping warmer air and creating cloud seas. Temperature differences between rim and floor can be substantial, with different ecosystems existing at various elevations. Number 32. Finland holds the distinction of being the most forested country in Europe, with approximately 26.2 million hectares of forest land. Roughly 86% of Finland's total area is classified as forestry land, more forest coverage than any other European nation. In practical terms, Finnish forests cover approximately 224,000 square kilometers out of the country's total 338,000 square kilometers, an area that dwarfs the entire land area of countries like Romania or Ecuador. Number 33. Sweden holds the record for most islands with 267,570 total. This vast number results from the country's geological history and indented coastline. Most are small, uninhabited rocky outcrops called skerries. The formation results from post-glacial rebound, where land slowly rises after being depressed by Ice Age glaciers. As land emerges from the sea, new islands constantly form. Only about 1,000 islands are inhabited. Number 34. Svalbard experiences the midnight sun for over 4 months in summer, where the sun doesn't set from approximately April 20th to August 23. This occurs due to Earth's axial tilt. The flip side is polar night during winter with continuous darkness from late October to mid-February, illuminated only by moon, stars, and northern lights. This dramatic light-dark cycle defines life in the high Arctic. At number 34, Portugal's westernmost point, Cabo da Roca, was once considered the end of the world. Perched atop 140-meter cliffs overlooking the vast Atlantic Ocean, this dramatic headland was famously described by 16th-century Portuguese poet Luís de Camões as "where the land ends and the sea begins." Before European sailors fully mapped the globe, Cabo da Roca was perceived as the edge of known civilization, an ominous boundary where seas supposedly led into unknown realms inhabited by mythical monsters. Today, a stone monument and cross mark this historic point, inscribed with Camões' verse. Visitors can even purchase a souvenir certificate declaring, "I've stood at the end of Europe," a nod to the centuries when this cliff felt like the last outpost of the known world. Number 35. North Korea and Finland are both bordered by the same country, Russia. Russia shares a 17-kilometer land border with North Korea along the Tumen River, and maintains an extensive 1,340-kilometer eastern border with Finland, making both countries Russia's neighbors despite being worlds apart in distance and culture. In North Korea's case, this border is short and remote, representing the only land boundary the country has aside from China and South Korea. Finland's border with Russia, by contrast, crosses vast taiga forests and represents the longest border Russia shares with any of its European neighbors. At number 36, Mount Disappointment in Australia earned its name in 1824 from explorers Hamilton Hume and William Hovell. They climbed the 800-meter peak hoping for panoramic views of their destination, Port Phillip Bay. After a difficult ascent, they found their view completely obscured by dense forest. In frustration, they named it Mount Disappointment. Ironically, the mountain is now popular for recreation, and the 2009 bushfires temporarily opened the views they originally sought. At number 37, Canada has over 3 million lakes, constituting 60% of all lakes on Earth. This incredible freshwater abundance is a direct Ice Age legacy, when glaciers carved millions of depressions that filled with meltwater. These lakes aren't just numerous, but vast in volume. The Great Lakes, shared with the U.S., form the largest freshwater lake group on Earth, containing about 21% of the world's surface freshwater. Number 38, Tuvalu, a tiny Pacific atoll nation, is projected to be among the first countries at risk of disappearing due to rising sea levels. With a total land area of just 26 square kilometers and an average elevation under 2 meters, Tuvalu ranks among the lowest-lying nations on Earth. Coastal flooding is already a present reality. By 2050, approximately 50% of its capital atoll, Funafuti, could be regularly submerged at high tide, rising to 95% by 2010. In response to this existential threat, Tuvalu's government amended its constitution in 2023 to assert its permanent statehood and maritime rights regardless of land loss, ensuring its sovereignty endures even if the physical land does not. Number 39. Most Australians live on or near the coast, making Australia one of the world's most coastal-oriented populations. Roughly 95% of Australians live within 100 kilometers of the shoreline, and around 85% reside within just 50 kilometers of the coast in major cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth. Although Australia spans nearly 7.7 million square kilometers, most of the interior consists of arid or semi-arid land, with fewer than 4 people per square kilometer on average. Coastal living offers milder climates, fertile lands, major ports, and employment opportunities, drawing people away from the harsh desert interior. Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia is the world's largest salt flat, covering over 10,000 square kilometers. Formed from prehistoric lake remnants, the salt crust is exceptionally flat, with less than 1 meter elevation variation. During rainy season, thin water layers transform it into the world's largest natural mirror, creating perfect sky reflections. Beyond its beauty, it holds one of the world's largest lithium reserves, crucial for battery production. At number 41. Africa is the only continent in all 4 hemispheres: northern, southern, eastern, and western. This occurs because both the equator and prime meridian pass through the continent. The equator runs nearly 4,000 kilometers across Africa through 7 countries, while the prime meridian crosses through Ghana and other West African nations. This unique position underscores Africa's central role in world geography. At number 42, more than 25% of the Netherlands lies below sea level, made habitable only through an extraordinary network of dikes, pumps, and reclaimed land, with an additional 24% sitting less than 1 meter above sea level. Major cities such as Amsterdam and Rotterdam are built on land that would be underwater without the sophisticated Dutch water management system. To protect this low-lying terrain, the Netherlands has created the Delta Works, a modern engineering marvel consisting of dams, sluices, storm barriers, levees, and reinforced dike systems that safeguard entire provinces from the North Sea. At number 43, the Czech Republic has the highest number of castles per capita in the world, with over 2,000 castles, chateaux, ruins, and fortresses scattered across approximately 78,900 square kilometers. This represents roughly 1 historic site for every 4,500 to 5,000 people, a density unmatched by any other country. The Czech Republic's castle-rich landscape includes everything from grand medieval strongholds like the sprawling Prague Castle, the largest ancient castle in the world, castle complex in the world, to romantic chateau and hilltop ruins tucked into nearly every village and protected landscape. Whether transformed into hotels, museums, or restaurants, many of these historic sites are easily accessible within hours from Prague or regional towns. At number 44, Tokyo, the capital of Japan, is the most populous metropolitan area in the world, a sprawling urban agglomeration that is a testament to modern urban planning and human density. The Greater Tokyo area is home to an astonishing 37 to 38 million people, a population larger than that of entire countries like Canada or Australia. This immense concentration of people is supported by one of the most extensive and efficient public transportation systems in the world, including the famous Tokyo Metro and JR lines that move millions of passengers daily with remarkable precision. Despite its immense size and population density, Tokyo is renowned for its safety, cleanliness, and exceptionally high quality of life. The city is a fascinating study in contrasts, seamlessly blending the traditional and the ultramodern, where ancient Shinto temples and Buddhist shrines stand in the shadow of futuristic skyscrapers and neon-lit districts. At number 45. Monowai, Nebraska is the U.S.'s smallest incorporated town with just 1 resident. Elsie Eiler, a woman in her 80s. She serves as mayor, clerk, treasurer, librarian, and operates the only business, Monowai Tavern. This reflects demographic decline in many Great Plains rural communities. As sole resident, Elsie fulfills all municipal duties, including producing road plans for state funding and granting herself liquor licenses. Number 46, the Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis, represent one of Earth's most stunning natural phenomena. Visible in high-latitude regions such as Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Canada, and Alaska, this breathtaking spectacle occurs when charged particles from the sun collide with gases in Earth's atmosphere, creating waves of green, purple, red, and pink light that shimmer across the night sky. Beyond their beauty, the auroras serve as a visible reminder of Earth's magnetic field and how it protects our planet from harmful solar radiation. Abisko, Sweden, home to the Aurora Sky Station, is renowned for its clear skies and frequent aurora displays, making it one of the best places on Earth to witness this natural wonder. Number 47, the Tabernas Desert in Andalusia, Spain, holds the distinction of being the only true desert on mainland Europe. Covering approximately 280 square kilometers, the Tabernas Desert is uniquely classified under a hot desert climate, an extremely rare environment in continental Europe. Annual rainfall remains below 220 to 250 millimeters, while summer temperatures often soar past 40 degrees Celsius, carving dramatic badlands and ravines from the arid landscape. Number 48. Australia has over 10,000 beaches along its 50,000-kilometer coastline. This abundance means visiting a new beach daily would take over 29 years. Beach culture is deeply embedded in Australian identity, with over 85% of the population living within 50 kilometers of the coast. The diversity ranges from world-famous surf beaches like Bondi to pristine white silica sands of Whitehaven Beach that squeak underfoot. At number 49. Despite spanning 5 geographical time zones, China operates on a single time zone, Beijing time, UTC +8. This policy, established in 1949 to promote national unity, has significant practical consequences. In western regions like Xinjiang, official time is completely out of sync with the solar cycle. The sun may not rise until 10 a.m. in winter, leading to informal use of local time that's 2 hours behind Beijing time. And finally, number 50, Hudson Bay in Canada ranks among the world's largest bays, so vast that the entire island of Great Britain could fit inside it with room to spare. Hudson Bay covers roughly 1,230,000 square kilometers, making it the second largest bay by area on Earth, surpassed only by the Bay of Bengal. The bay maintains the longest shoreline of any bay in North America, with an intricate, indented coastline encompassing Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, and Nunavut. In terms of drainage, Hudson Bay's watershed covers an enormous 3.86 million square kilometers, spanning much of Canada and parts of the United States, making it one of Earth's most significant inland seas by watershed size. From mountains taller than Everest to underground seas and landscapes that fool NASA scientists, America's geography is full of surprises hiding in plain sight. The real question is, what else don't we know about the place we call home? If this video changed how you see the United States, share it with someone who needs their mind blown too.